Hey everybody, I have a challenge for you. An art challenge. No, it's not one of those month-long, fill up a bunch of sketchbooks, devote tons of time to the challenge. It's a challenge you should be able to do in a couple days or maybe a week, depending on how far you go with it and you want to take it. And the goal of this challenge is to make you think like an artist. So let's talk challenges. I'm Mark, and this is We Talk Art. I've actually heard two artists in videos recently say that the difference between a successful artist and a hobbyist is that successful artists work in series. I've personally seen this with several artists I know, including my wife, Debbie Wolf, who has successfully worked in series as opposed to other artists that just make one piece after another with little continuity between the pieces other than they are made by the same artist. The goal of this is to challenge you to think like a successful artist. And many successful artists work in series. So I've been using the word series. What does it mean to work in a series? It basically means that you're going to make, with intent, a group of artwork that fits together. If you were going to hang it in a gallery or show it together, it would obviously belong together and be by the same person, with consistency, the same vision, the same message, and some are similar presentation. Doing this will make the pieces support each other in a way that makes the body of work more powerful than any individual piece and better highlight the overall body of work. Working in a series can also go a long way for an artist to find their voice, something that you want whether you know it or not. Often an artist will establish the theme, determine the medium, possibly choose the palette, and often name or define the series before they even start making art. I have some examples for you. Here are 5 images from a larger photographic series that I did from a hike I took several years back. Before the hike, I made some decisions to make a series of photographs that fit together and showed a place, which was the Truckee River Canyon to the west of Verdi, Nevada. I chose to be consistent with my processing, deciding on black and white before I started shooting, looking for subject matter that fit together and had a strong sense of the place. My wife, Debbie Wolf, has had a lot of success with her series, I Went for a Walk. It started from her collecting things on walks that caught her attention, and then she started doing photographic flat lays using them. It is a fairly large series now, but here are 5 images from that series. There's a link to Debbie Wolf's website in the show notes below. A friend of mine, Weston Lee, has a wonderful series, 521 Days. It is a documentation of a trip he took to a fantasy island and the things he saw. Here are 5 images from that series. A link to Weston Lee's website is also in the show notes below. This might give you some idea of what you're trying to achieve with this challenge. Looking at these, you will see that all this artwork fits together very well and creates a really strong presentation. Let me think. When I talked to Weston about this video, he told me an analogy that he heard about working in series. Working in series is like having a long-term committed relationship opposed to a bunch of one-night stands. An artist that works in series has the opportunity to be more involved with, have better understanding of, and be more intimate with the subject matter. That was my paraphrasing Weston, who was paraphrasing someone else he heard it from. The point is that working in a series will allow you to develop a much stronger body of work. I'm here near the trailhead of the Hunter Creek Trail. It is one of my favorite trails that is close to my house, which is west of Reno, Nevada. I can actually walk here. It is a place ripe to develop a series because it is beautiful, popular, and has a natural theme that continues up this canyon. As a result, I thought it was a great place to propose this art challenge. I'm calling it the 5-Piece Art Series Challenge. Yes, I know, kind of original, but you'll get it. In this challenge, the goal is to make 5 pieces of art, studies, or sketches that all fit together. This is what I would consider to be the absolute minimum number of pieces to be in a series, but I want this to be an achievable goal. Most often a series will be 10 to 30 pieces and sometimes even larger. I understand that I'm talking to a wide range of different types of artists probably. So to make this work, it will require you to modify this to fit your type of art, your style, your vision, and how much time you want to devote to make this happen. Keep in mind that what defines an art series is going to be as individual to you as your art. It is an extension of your artistic vision and voice. The main goal of this challenge is to make 5 pieces that work in a series. With that said, let me set a few guidelines, because after all, this is a challenge and it can't be too easy, right? If you will work in anything that resembles literal, but it might also work for abstract, I want you to choose a place that really inspires you. For me, it's the Hunter Creek Canyon, but it could be a park, a historical district in your town, downtown area, a museum, a river, the ocean, forest, neighborhood. It could be your studio if you do portraits or still lifes, or just about anywhere that gets your creative side going. I would recommend that it's close to your home, so if you want to go back a couple times, you can. If place does not work for your style, then find some subject that inspires you or a visual theme that allows you to develop those 5 images. So you're going to bring a camera or your camera phone and walk around and photograph 20 images that are vignettes that inspire you. Really define the place, create a mood, or say something. Keep the idea that these things must all fit together. The more commonality of the theme, the better. Don't take too many pictures, you'll probably get overwhelmed, so keep it around 20. Also, you may want to make the images not too similar because you want enough interest between them that keeps people looking from one to the next. As you take these pictures, I want you to think about a few things. What is it about this place or subject that excites you? How would you visually describe this place or subject to someone else? What makes this place or subject special or unique? What are the big things that catch your attention? What are the small things that make you want to kneel down and look close? What time of day does this place or subject look really good at? Do you include people in your composition or not? What mood are you trying to capture with your art? Does this place or subject have a color palette? Is the light special in this place? Is there some flora, fauna, or characteristic that makes this place unique? You may be tempted to use photos you already have or pictures that other people have taken, but I would highly recommend that you would go and do this fresh with the idea that you're trying to put this together, so you have intent, so that you can have the goal in mind as you look at the subject matter. You're going to edit down these 20 some odd pictures to the 5 that we've been talking about. You can make this as many as you like, but make it manageable. I want you to get from the beginning to completion in an achievable amount of time so you can see how this all works. You will then take those 5+ images, and I recommend that you sketch them. This can be different for different types of artists. If you're a photographer, you may do a light process, a crop, and then print out 5x7s. For artists that work in mediums that start with graphite sketches, that will work. Do the sketch of the 5 images in graphite, but you can do charcoal, pen and ink, watercolor, gouache. If there's other ways you sketch, which is rough, quick renderings, knock yourself out. I'm doing a graphite underdrawing with a watercolor sketch on top of it. Now keep in mind, you can take this concept as far as you want. If you want to take them all the way to final work, that would be great. But the goal is to get 5 or more images that you have worked to the point of sketch at least. Here are some concepts that will help your work have continuity, a sense of belonging, and work as a series. Size and aspect ratio. I would highly recommend that you make all your images the same size and or the same aspect ratio. That relationship of height to width, like 4:5, which is an aspect ratio for 8x10s, 12x15s, 16x20s, or a 2:3, which is an aspect ratio for 4x6, 8x12s, 12x18s. There is a 16:9, which is like your TV set. There's 1:1, which is a square, and there's also panoramic formats. Any aspect ratio will work. Just do the whole series the same. For me, it was just the size of my sketchbook, which is the 5x8 size. For more about aspect ratios, I'll post a video up here that'll give you a whole rundown on it. I'll also put it in the show notes down below, so you can check it out after this video. It's also powerful if all your images have the same orientation, portrait or landscape, but this is not absolutely necessary. Use the same palette, same colors, if you're going to use color. The palette you use to render your work can be a powerful way to bind images together. This can be black and white or monochrome, limited palette, warm tones, cool tones, etc. I was given 4 random colors at a trade show, and I decided to use those as my limited palette. They ended up being ultramarine deep, burnt sienna, dragon's blood, and green gold. This was 2 colors that I chose and 2 colors the guy who was helping me chose. It made for a challenge. I'm not saying to choose a hard palette, just choose colors that you like and work for your subject. Use the same style. As you mature as an artist, you will have a voice to your work, and in that way it will be your style. Yet, you still may make similar style choices that make the art feel like it's all part of the same series. Same shading techniques, way you define light, form, depth, texture, etc. I have been told that working in a series is a great way to develop your voice. Subject matter. You are using the same place. This is strong, but similar elements that might flow through your art will also be helpful. It might be vegetation or geological formations, people, buildings, doors, cars, man-made things, natural elements, wildlife, you name it. You can even force this by putting some element in all your pictures, such as a little yellow ducky or a book or a person. So, use subject. The way you use light in your images can bind your art together. Time of day, color temperature, shadows, dark versus light, contrast, reflections, spectral highlights. The level of detail you apply in the image should also be similar. How detailed, abstract, where your detail is used and applied. I tend to geek out on a lot of detail, so in my pieces, I decided to go for some abstraction, which I feel like I only partly succeeded with. Perspective. How close or how far are you from your subjects, your angle of view, your eye height, your ground level, elevated, the rendered perspective, 1 point, 2 point, 3 point, 4 point, 5 point perspective, angle of view, wide or narrow, foreground, background, separation, depth of field. These are all elements that will help distinguish your work. If you want to take this to final work, the way you display them would also need to be similar. So the framing, the matting, the surface you're on, all that goes together to create a body of work. Ultimately, it is important to put some limits on style, theme, materials to create coherency. You might come up with other ideas on ways to create connection, although you don't have to do all the things I just mentioned. It might not even be the best. Just a few of them will help create the sense that they belong together. And again, you're the artist, so you're going to have to come up with your own way to create a series. I often work in sketchbooks, but you may want to take and do these on separate sheets of paper so when you're done you can lay them all out and look at them together. Once you've sketched out or completed all 5 of your images, it would be great to get them all together so you can see them as a group. So if you did them in a sketchbook like me, you may want to rip them out and look at them together, or photograph them so you can look them all together on the screen or a TV set. Give yourself an evaluation of your success. Did it work? Do they all belong together? What worked? What didn't work? Is there anything you could have done to make them fit together better? Is there something that you could have done more of? For me, the weird palette was a bit of a challenge, but ultimately it worked and made them all fit. As I said earlier, I try to be a little bit abstract on these images, which I don't feel like I did that great on. I only partly succeeded at that. I'm happy with the size and the aspect ratio I choose. Overall, I feel pretty good about the start. So if there's some bonus points, if you work these pieces all the way out to final work, you get a bonus. Double bonus if you continue the series beyond 5. Again, if you get into a really good series, you probably want to be 10 or more images to make a really good series. I hope this challenge gets you to think about working in series. Instead of setting out to make a painting, set out to make 10 paintings that all fit together. Use what you learned. Let us know in the comments how this worked for you. Do you have any suggestions for other artists, what they might do? If you're on Instagram and you want to show off or see what other people have done, I'm going to set up the hashtag WTA5 series, SERIES. So look for that. I hope you found this inspiring. Please give us a like and a subscribe. It really helps us out a lot. If you want to see more We Talk Art videos, I'm going to put 2 more up on the screen here in a minute, and you can click on those. Otherwise, go make some art in a series.